Good morning, everyone. This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Media, NR Hour, Nithin Sports Trust, back with another episode. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We're here for another week, and we're back with another special episode. But fans, you already know about the speaker app on my phone. You guys can tune in there, put in your questions for every guest that we have on the show. But we have a really special guest today on the show. Her name is Allison Lowrey. She is a current soccer forward. She played for Rutgers University. She played for Texas A&M, and she recently signed with a team in Iceland, which we'll get to. Congrats on that. But we actually covered Allison for a while at Rutgers when she was playing at Rutgers, and she's a great young talent, and she represents women in sports really well. So I can't wait to learn more about her story. And when we covered her in person, I did an in-person interview with her one time, and she's a she has a great personality on and off the field, and what a great teammate she is also. So can't wait for this. And Allison, thank you for joining the show, and our fans are excited to learn more about your story too. So how are you and your family doing, and welcome to the family.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're doing really good. Just spending a lot of time packing, trying to spend as much time with my family as possible before I go. So, yeah.
Yeah, so before we get to your soccer journey and career, I just want to say congrats again on your new opportunity with Iceland. And before that, I want to give a quick prayers and thoughts to all the people in Los Angeles that are going through the wildfires right now. So prayers and thoughts with them, and please help donate to the Red Cross and to all the families out there, because they're going through a rough time. So I just want to put that out there too. But congrats on the Iceland opportunity, and you're part of, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're part of NP Pathway Management now. So talk about how did you get partnered up with them, and what excites you for this next opportunity in Iceland?
Yeah, so thank you for the congrats. Yeah, so Jason, I met him through two of my former teammates who use him. I called him and I was like, hey, looking for an agent. We talked for a while. I talked to some other agents, and then I decided to go with him because, my friends like him, so I trust their opinion immensely. So yeah, I signed with him, and it was kind of like a crazy experience. Like the next day, he was like already telling me about like teams that reached out, and it was a really good confidence booster, actually. I mean, obviously you get the teams that are like, no, we're not interested, but it was a cool experience.
Oh, yeah. So what are you most looking forward to? You told me before the show that you're not nervous about the soccer, but just nervous about other things. But what do you have you talked to your new coaches yet, or new teammates yet?
I've talked to the coaches, and there's two Americans who are also coming with me. So we've been chatting too. There definitely is a little bit of a language barrier, even though most of them do speak English. It's like some things get lost in translation, so we kind of just have to like keep up with everything. I've been talking to the other Americans, like, what have you guys heard? And yeah, we just found out we're all leaving on January 21st, so we're gonna get to the airport. We're gonna land at the same time, which will be nice. To get introduced. I talked on WhatsApp with the coach. He called me out of nowhere. My phone starts ringing. It's like, who is FaceTiming me on WhatsApp? And then I declined it because I was like, oh my gosh. But it was the coach, so I called him back and we talked for a while, and it was nice to be face to face with him for the first time.
That's awesome. Yeah, so tell our fans, how did Allison Lowrey get into soccer? How did you get started playing soccer, and being from Jersey too? So just talk about your early life growing up, and when did you get interested in playing soccer?
Yeah, I started playing when I was 3. My older sister played, and I was the typical younger sibling copying everything she did, even though I wouldn't have admitted it then. I played softball, basketball, gymnastics, soccer. Like, I did everything. I just loved sports. I just loved competing. And thankfully, my parents allowed me to do that and gave up a lot of their time to drive me around. But as I started getting older, and I didn't specialize in soccer until high school. Like, that's when things really became serious. I went to PDA where Mike O'Neill was, and then followed him up to Rutgers. And yeah, he was my coach for 8 years, and I'm very thankful for everything he's done for me.
Yeah, so we are live with Allison Lowrey, soccer forward. Fans, please put your questions in. We'll take some of your questions also. So speaking of Mike O'Neill, Talk about him because he's a legendary coach in the Rutgers area. Obviously, been still coaching, and for him to be your coach for a long time, what does that mean for you?
Oh, everything he's done for me, like, really has meant a lot. The way he sees the game is crazy. Like, we'd be practicing and he'd be stopping it every like 30 seconds. Like, did you see this? Did you see this? And we'd get annoyed. But then, like, looking back, you're like, wow, like, I can see the field so much better because of what he showed me. Like, the things he'd show us in film. It was just like he picked up on the little details, and that made a huge difference.
Wow. Yeah, so in your high school career, or when you were playing soccer, did you get to play multiple positions on the field?
I was a midfielder in like middle school. Once I got to high school, I was basically just a forward. This past year at A&M, I actually played midfield a little bit, and I actually surprised myself because I'm used to like playing like back to goal in the nine position, but then they threw me in the mid, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but at the same time, I know what I wanted my midfielders to do, so I just mimicked that, and it went really well.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have our first fan question here on my phone. One of our fans wants to know who are some of the soccer players that you looked up to growing up?
So Casey Murphy, she's from my town, Bridgewater. She was my student teacher in sixth grade. So in my science class. So she would come into school on days like they had like days that the high school team had games, she would come into school in her uniform, and I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like this girl is awesome. Like, and it was like cool to look up to her. Like I made my mom bring me to all the high school games. Yeah, it was nice to like have like people in my town that were also very successful.
Yeah, so in high school, talk about some of your best moments in high school and talk about your recruitment process. Obviously, you went to Rutgers first, but did you have any other offers coming out of high school?
High school, not really. I kind of like, I definitely had to grow up a little bit because I wasn't one to like, I was so scared to like email the coaches, and it really never was that deep, but I was scared to put myself out there. So when I was in the transfer portal, that was like my real recruiting experience. And it's hard. It's like you, it's sometimes coaches want to get back to you right away and be like, oh my gosh, they don't want me. A&M ended up like not talking to me for a week. I was like, oh my gosh, like I really want to go there, and now they're not answering me. And then I text them, and then they didn't answer, and then they finally reached out like, hey, come. I'm like, yes, please. That happened with a few other schools too. But I kind of just was like, I just threw myself out there. A lot of schools reached out to me, and I kind of like narrowed it down because I knew I wanted to go in the SEC, so that made my picking my visits easier. But some old coaches reached out, and I was like, wait, I would love to be coached by them again. So I went and visited their schools as well. It was very overwhelming, but it definitely helped me grow up a little bit.
Yeah, and speaking of Rutgers, when for you being from Bridgewater, how special was it for you to be close to home in your beginning of your college career to play and to have your family and friends to come to games and play in and still play in New Jersey area?
No, it was so cool, and it's something that I'll never experience again probably. My whole family was able to come, all my friends were able to come. It was just like random people that I haven't talked to in years. They're coming like, "Hey, we came to watch your game." I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." Especially like when we went to like the Final Four and stuff. Those home games during the NCAA tournament, like the stands were packed. It was so cool. Everyone was so supportive, and like all the girls, family, friends, everybody was there to support us. And that's something that a lot of schools can't provide for a lot of people. And it was huge that Rutgers had a lot of New Jersey girls.
Yeah, so we have another fan question. They want to know, what do you bring to the game of soccer? What do you bring on the field? I already know what you bring on the field, but one of our fans wants to know what do you bring to the game of soccer?
Yeah, I'm someone who's very realistic with myself. I'm not the best soccer player on the planet, but I can be the hardest worker. I can be the fastest. I can be the strongest, and I play to my own strengths. I kind of see the field. I've learned to see the field very well, being in the nine position. Everything's in front of me, but like I always have my head on the swivel. Like if my teammates offsides, I'll see it and I'll pull them back on. Like I just, I'm tough. I'm physical. Like I'll run through a brick wall if I have to win the game.
Yeah, so speaking of But what was it like for you playing at Rutgers? Obviously, Mike O'Neill, the coach, and you had some great teammates around you throughout when you were at Rutgers. And talk about that experience playing for Scarlet Knights and the fan base. You guys have, in my opinion, Rutgers is one of the best colleges in New Jersey area and the best fan base there. So talk about that whole experience in Rutgers.
Yeah, we had something very special because a lot of us grew up playing for Mike, and a lot of us grew up playing together. So we all meshed very well. Like you could see that my freshman year, Final Four year, like we all knew exactly how we wanted to play, and it worked really well. And that's it was very special. When I transferred to Texas A&M, I was like, I need to get used to playing with other people and how they play because I was so used to everybody being on the same page that I was now like having to adapt to a whole different environment.
Yeah, so what would you say some of your best moments? Obviously, the Final Four appearances, but what would you say your other best moments were at Rutgers?
Um, a lot of the best moments were just when the team would come together. There were a few times we were down to nothing. We came back and won. Those were cool. We had so much fun off the field, traveling. We were always together. And a lot of when I look back at my college experience, a lot of things I remember aren't like aren't like the hard losses or like the bad moments. It's like how we made the most of everything. And the girls at Rutgers were great with that.
We have another fan question. They want to know who are some of the funniest teammates that you played with.
I mean, I might be one of the funniest. Um, but Allie Lynch, she coached at Rutgers this past year. One of the funniest people you'll ever meet. Um, that had to be one of my teammates who just asked that question.
Uh, no, it's one of our fans, not one of
Oh, really?
yeah.
Um, what else? That everybody's so funny in their unique way, and we all like had the same humor. Like if somebody came into the team, transferred in, they'd be like, "What the heck?" And then they'd like catch on really quick, and they just blend in really well.
Yeah, so speaking of talk about Riley Thiernan. She is a unbelievable player, and we covered her too a few times, and we covered her this past year. Talk about her play on the field, and every time she is on the field, she produces and she makes her teammates better. So talk about Riley as a player in
Yeah,
general.
Riley, I mean, she just set the assist record at Rutgers. Like, you need someone like her on the field who's gonna feed you the balls, who sees the runs you're gonna make. And it was very easy to play with her and click with her because we had played with each other for a few years, so then we just knew exactly what each other was gonna do. She knew the runs I was gonna make. I knew where she was gonna go when she got the ball and just headed down the field. We worked very well together.
Yeah, so tell our fans how what made you go into the transfer portal and pick Texas A&M. Talk about that process. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, I mean, so I had a fifth year, I had a COVID year, something that has never happened before, and I just felt like I needed to do something very different, put myself out of my comfort zone, because I wanted to grow up a little bit. I mean, I was 20 minutes away from home at Rutgers, preparing for my college career. I was like, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to do something crazy. I need to get something like a different experience. And Texas A&M, I wanted to go SEC,
Yeah.
so. Texas sounded cool to me. I've been once, and they were able to give me a different experience than I was able to get here. Going to like SEC football games, different culture down there, just a different way of life. And I'm so thankful and grateful that I picked that. Soccer wasn't the best for me there, but I learned kind of how to deal with life outside of soccer because I put so much of like my worth, my value, like based on how soccer's going. And I kind of learned to separate from that a little bit because soccer wasn't going well. But I found a whole other aspect of life that I enjoyed.
Okay, let me ask you this: would you put Texas barbecue close to Kansas City barbecue?
Well, I've never been to Kansas City, but Texas barbecue was pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely miss that.
Yeah. So one of our fans wants to know, did you ever thought of going into the NWSL and they want to know is that still a possibility?
I mean, I wouldn't totally count it out. I would like to play abroad for a year or two and then try to come back, whether it's NWSL, USL. I just kind of want to enjoy the game. I can only play pro once in my life. I don't know how long my body can handle it, but it definitely is a goal to come back to the US eventually.
Yeah. So talk about Texas A&M campus, and they have another great fan base. Their football team is good, and obviously a nice college atmosphere. So talk about what was it like playing for Texas A&M, and some of your best moments there as a soccer player.
I could go on and on about that school. I think that was the coolest experience of my life. Um, just the culture of the school was insane. The school spirit, the way people rallied around all the athletics, not just football. Um, Going to the football games was crazy. I snuck onto the field one time, and it was just like 110,000 people in there. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is insane. Like it's much different football culture than you'd see at Rutgers. We meet or the school would meet the night before the football game at midnight for the midnight yell, and they'd practice all the chants. And it was culture shock. The yell leaders came to one of our practices in the summer, and they're like, "All right, who are the new girls?" I was like, "Me," and they pulled me up and they started doing their chants. I was like, "What is going on here?" But I learned to love it. I did.
So our friend that we did an event with Johnny Manziel in New Jersey. Now we actually became pretty good friends. So does he still make appearances at Texas A&M?
He does. He does. He was there for the first game of the season when they played Notre Dame. He has his bar there that was
Or yeah. Hmm.
uh but yeah, some of my friends would just like see him randomly and like take pictures and he'd be like, "How's Coach G?" Like he knows all about the athletics and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. So for you, what did you obviously you said soccer wasn't the best there for you, but just talk about what was it like just being part of that team and having the teammates around you and a great coaching staff at Texas A&M.
Yeah, my teammates, they were all awesome. They all fought for me. I loved them. They loved me. We all got along really well. There was really no drama. Nobody saying anything about anybody. Like that was like one of like the healthiest environments I've seen before. I mean, Rutgers was a great environment too, but like, they're all just like very good people. Yeah, the coaching staff, Alyssa, she helped me out a lot when I wasn't getting into games. It was like, Alyssa, like, I want to go pro, like, help me. And she worked with me before practices and stuff. And some of the other girls worked with me too, individually, because we all just wanted to get better and we were all there for each other.
We have another fan question here. They want to know if you were not playing soccer, they want to know what would you be doing now?
I don't know. My whole life is everyone's like, I'll lose a game and I'll be really mad, and people will be like, it's not that deep. I was like, guys, you have no idea. Like, soccer is my whole life.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I would be doing right now without soccer. I ask myself every day what I'm gonna do after, and I can't find an answer. I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens.
So, talk about the growth of women in sports, and we're big in women in sports. I have 12 people working for my company, my media company. Five of them are females, and we're big in helping women in sports grow. And it's getting better now, but it's still room to grow. But talk about for you yourself and other women that's getting paving the way from the past, but now you guys are getting more opportunities to cover sports or play in sports, and just talk about the growth of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, look at the WNBA right now. Look at Caitlin Clark, what she's doing. Just the more media that's out there, like people will learn to love the game, even if there's women playing. It's still fun to watch and it's still fun to be a part of. Like we love when people come to our games, like when they're loud, our friends and stuff. And every time they come, they're like, "Wow, like we actually had fun." I was like, "Yeah, guys, like we're fun to watch." Like spread the word. I think people just need to give it a fair chance and maybe a second chance. Maybe they'll put on a game that isn't the best, but like the more you watch it, the more involved you are, the more interesting and fun it becomes. And I think people just need to be a little more open-minded to it.
Yeah, so tell our fans what was it like for you playing in big competition at SEC and playing against other top level colleges, and what would you say? What would you say? Would you say that helped you become a better soccer player playing against tougher competition also?
Yeah, it, every team we played was going to give us their best. I mean, at Rutgers, we had such a name that no matter who we were playing, they were coming out very strong. And it was like a lot of like mental lessons. Like just because you're at the top doesn't mean you're going to stay there. People are going to work so hard to tear you down from where you are. Um, and the problem solving aspect of it too, like, okay, like I'm going against a girl who's a foot taller than me. Like, what do I have to change? What are my movements gonna be? And then watching the defenders, like, okay, what are your habits? Like, I gotta adjust to that. Are you a lefty? Are you a righty? The better the competition, the more you have to pick up on.
We have another fan question. They want to know your favorite food and drink.
My favorite food. My favorite food is steak. I love a good steak. Drink. I really like diet root beer. They're
Ruby.
big, yeah, they're big on like the diet Dr. Pepper down south. I love that. And I also really like this kombucha. I
Oh,
just found
kombucha.
it back again. I haven't seen that flavor in so long, so I bought like a bunch the other day.
You've been on that thing now, huh? Kombucha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what do you look? So when you go head to Iceland with your teammates, and as you guys get ready for season, so what are you most looking forward to now? Learning from them and then getting ready for the season, and then hopefully getting starting right away with that team.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the competition of the soccer. Like soccer, I've been doing it my whole life. After my experience at A&M, I know that I could be going into anything. I could be going into not playing at all. I could be going into starting. So I'm excited to fight for a spot, to learn and adapt. And soccer in different countries has different cultures, different aspects. It's very physical here in the US. Some countries aren't as physical. So I'll see how that is. And life outside of soccer, I'm and I don't know. I'm nervous, but excited at the same time. I mean, I told you earlier, I'm living on an island that has like 4,500 people, 4,501 if you include me. But it's going to be very different. I'm from a big town. I went to two big schools, and to downsize like that is going to be crazy. Like I have to take a ferry to get to my
Oh,
island. Like,
that's crazy.
yeah.
So, but so I'm just curious. They pick it for you guys, or you guys get to pick where to live?
So that's where my team is based out of. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
say it yet. I'm sure
Oh,
when I get there, they'll teach me how to say it. It's like this menu, something like that. It's a really long word, but yeah. So my agent, he was in talks with like teams from all different countries, and then they came along, and he's sending. One of the other Americans that's going is also with him,
okay.
and he was like, "It's a good deal. It's a good league. It's a good team." Um, I trust it. Like we're gonna do it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Iceland.
All right. Tell our fans about your dog. I think the dog Blue.
Blue.
Yeah. So he was interesting. He traveled with you throughout your career and with Rutgers and Texas A&M, and so talk about that. What's it like having him on the journey too?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. I can't
That's
bring
not,
him. Um. Yeah, that little
you can't
stinker.
bring him, huh?
I'm sorry.
Bring him to the Iceland.
I can't bring him to Iceland. I'm so upset. I don't want to put him on a plane. I'd feel really bad. But he's gonna live with my mom. She also has a husky. They're out running in the yard playing right now. Yeah, he's a little stinker. I love him. He lived with me at Rutgers. We would go for runs together. We'd go to the beach together. Like he's my little buddy, and I'm just really upset I have to leave him.
Hey, he'll show support from Jersey. So
Yes, he'll have his Iceland shirt on, be watching my games. So
yeah. So speaking of family, we're big on family on the show, and we love talking about the players' family or whoever's on the show about their family. So for you, what's it like to have your family to have your back since day one when you started your soccer career and then supporting your career and now where you're at now. So what's it been like to have your family behind your back from day one?
yeah, my family has always been there. I wouldn't be where I am without them. I mean, like I said earlier, they gave up a lot of time for me to be where I am today. A lot of time, a lot of money, to support my sports and all my activities and stuff. They were there for me with injuries. Any time in the night I'd call them, I'd be like, like something was going on, like, oh, I played bad or something, and they'd pick up the phone, no hesitation, like just always there for me. Um, my extended family's planning trips to go to Iceland, which is awesome. Um, yes, I mean, if any of my friends are watching, you want to come to Iceland, let me know. But yeah, my family is just they're awesome. They're anytime like when I was transferring, I was like, I don't know about money, like what's gonna happen. They're like, doesn't matter, wherever you want to go, like we're gonna figure it out. Like it won't be easy, but we'll figure it out. And I love them so much.
Yeah, we'll take one more fan question. One of our fans wants to know what's your game day music?
Game day music. Oh, you guys are gonna hate my answer. It is like slow country, Zach Bryan kind of thing. Like I'm a very mellow with my music. I'm not crazy. Sometimes we'll turn on the SoundCloud remixes if I'm like really feeling it, but I like to stay calm. Nothing too much.
No, no hip hop, no rap.
Not really. It's not really my thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, Allison, and like I said, thank you for joining. But would you like to give any shout outs or any like shout outs to your friends, family, or anything on the show? Messages?
Oh, well, shout out to my Rutgers family and shout out to my Texas A&M family, and my actual family. Love you guys all, and thank you for demanding the best out of me every day.
There you have it, Allison Lowrey, talented soccer forward, and now she's playing. She's going to play in Iceland. So, really looking forward to seeing what you do in Iceland, and we'll continue following your career. We'll stay connected and safe travels. And good luck to you and your team. And like I said, thank you again for joining. You're amazing. Great story, and keep up the great work.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem.